Hi there, I'm Estelle Godlewski, an American girl who called the cornfields of Illinois home until over 10 years ago when I started navigating the chaos of life overseas. If you've ever felt that itch for something more, that whisper telling you to break free from the ordinary, you're in the right place. This podcast is your backstage pass to the wild ride of moving abroad. I'm here to pull back the curtain on the real journey, sharing stories that are funny, dramatic, and sometimes downright unbelievable. We'll explore the gritty details, from battling culture shock and navigating tricky visa processes to celebrating those small victories that make it all worth it. So whether you're daydreaming about a new life abroad or already in the thick of it, grab your passport and let's explore what it really means to live life beyond borders. Welcome to A Broadly Speaking. Hey there, friend. Welcome to the A Broadly Speaking podcast. My name is Miss Dell. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. We are the podcast where we leave the fantasy behind and get real about what moving abroad actually looks like so that you can actually do it when you want to. If you've ever Googled how to move abroad and ended up in a spiral of bureaucracy-induced panic, this episode is totally for you. Today, we're going to talk about something that makes even seasoned travelers break out in cold sweats. That's called visas, and I don't mean the credit card. Specifically, today, we're going to talk about the lies and misconceptions nobody tells you before you start planning your move. Yeah, there's a lot of online experts who will tell you, just get the visa, it's easy, or you don't need to worry about it if you have a good story. And I'm here to tell you, nope, not true, not even close. So let's get into it. When I first started thinking about moving abroad, I thought visas were essentially just a shit ton of paperwork. I imagined a stamp, a signature, and maybe a friendly smile from a clerk somewhere, and that was about it. No. Reality is, visas are the legal backbone of your move. They decide whether you can live, work, study, or even breathe practically in a new country. And there are a whole ecosystem of traps and hidden requirements and inconsistent rules that can totally make your head spin. Some of the lies you've probably heard from influencers, let's say on Instagram, are all you need is a tourist visa to figure out things once you're there. Or you can get a work visa just by applying online. Or my personal favorite, it's cheaper than you think. Here's the truth. Depending on the country, visas can cost hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. They require documents you didn't know existed, and you will probably make a mistake on your first attempt because bureaucracy loves to hide their rules in obscure PDFs or contradictory websites. The first rule of visas, don't trust anything online without triple checking it through the official government websites. And even then, bring snacks because it's going to be slow and hard trudging, honestly. A lot of people think that you have to have a visa lawyer to be able to get through it, and that's not true. The truth is, visa lawyers do make the process simpler, but they can cost a lot of money, and that doesn't mean that they take away the cost of the visa itself. So you still have to pay for the visa application as part of the fees. So yes, hiring a visa lawyer can help you trudge through the bureaucracy, but if you want to DIY it, it is completely possible. Just make sure you're looking at the official government website and not some generic person who said, "Ooh, move to Switzerland," and then they pop up on you, okay? The truth is that there are also a lot of hidden costs that nobody talks about with visas. Everyone focuses on the application fee and it stops there. Meanwhile, your move quietly accumulates expenses that can ruin your budget if you're not careful. There's things like translations and notarizations. If you're moving from the US to Europe, every document, degree, or police clearance might need to be translated by a certified translator. And yes, that can absolutely cost more than you think. Some countries require that you have health insurance and will not approve your visa without proof of coverage that meets whatever their insane specifications are. In other countries, you might be required to provide bank statements showing you have enough money to survive for at least a few weeks or months. You need the exact numbers in the right format at the right time. And that's not just, "Ooh, let me print the bank statement online." That's legitimately showing them that you have the funds to survive for a period of time. Another thing that people don't consider is the cost to travel to the appointments that book months in advance. Forget walking into an office on a Tuesday. Some consulates or immigration offices have waiting lists that are measured in quarters, not weeks or even months. I learned this the hard way. We had to delay our move to Austria originally because of one stupid detail, which was that I needed to have certain document for my daughter that didn't exist yet because she was only born 3 months before. So we had to wait to get that document, and then it had to be translated, and it couldn't be the English version. It had to be the German version. Fortunately, she was born here in Switzerland, but we had a four language version, which was English, German, French, and Italian, sorry. And that four language version wasn't the official Swiss version. It was the unofficial official Swiss version. So they made me go back and get the German, French, or German, French, Romansh, and Italian certificate. God only knows why, but that's what they wanted. So we had to delay by a couple of weeks our move to Austria because we had to get those things in place. Okay. So it's not always just super simple. And I had to pay for yet another birth certificate because it needed to be the official, not the kind of officially official one. Here's the spicy truth. Immigration officers are trained to see red flags. And no, it's not meant to be personal. They just don't want to give out visas to people who might stay illegally or work illegally or accidentally create more paperwork for them because there's already enough. Some of the subtle red flags that trip people up are unclear employment plans. If your job to offer that you're handing in to show proof of income, for example, isn't airtight, the visa officer will smell it. They want contracts, they want salary numbers, and sometimes an official notarized letter from HR. If there's odd gaps in your history, like you're moving around a lot or traveling or you switch jobs every few months, they may ask, "What are you doing here?" when you show up or for your appointment. Make sure that you have all your ducks in a row and all your, as the expression goes, all your I's dotted and T's crossed to explain why you have those odd gaps in your history if it's applicable. The other thing to consider is that for countries that require you to have a certain bank balance, if your account balance isn't what they expect, even if you have a remote job, it may raise eyebrows. So, financial uncertainty is something that is important, right? So, being able to have very clear, concrete employment information to show to them, even if it's a remote job, can help them to start to say, okay, I know this person isn't going to show up and leech off the system as soon as they arrive. These things are not impossible to navigate, but you do need to know they exist before you start. And knowing them early can save months of wasted time, stress, and money along the way. There's something special too about the timing. Most people think, I'll just start the visa process when I have everything ready. That's not necessarily the best idea or the best way to go. Timing literally is everything. Some visas take months to process. And even if you submit everything perfectly, there may be delays. Random delays, clerical delays, delays for no reason that you will ever understand, including holidays every, second Thursday, it feels like. So here's the rule. Start as early as humanly possible. I mean, like yesterday early. Treat the visa as a full on project with milestones, deadlines, and backup plans. I remember we had a visa appointment scheduled in Vienna that actually got postponed because the system wasn't working. And the catch, if we missed the window, we would have had to restart the whole process for reapplication again anyway. Imagine losing a few months worth of rent and flights and arrangements just because of paperwork. So be sure that you have everything arranged. Now, for us, it was a renewal process. And that's actually something, just a quick aside, you will have to likely renew your visa. They're not good forever and ever and ever, right? So within Vienna, my husband had to, in Austria, I should say, my husband had to renew his every 2 years. My daughter and I had to renew ours every year. And so those paperworks continue after you move. It's not like, look, I have my visa and I never have to worry about it ever, ever again. It's not true. I just want to, rip the Band-Aid off. You don't need all the same paperwork, but you do need some. Here's the part that matters if you actually want visas without crying in front of the clerk. Present yourself as someone who isn't going to break the rules. You need to look like a safe bet. You can do this by having complete organized documentation. Every letter, contract, bank statement, and passport scan in order. Label it. Like I know for my type B friends out there, you gotta be type A for a visa application. So make sure that you have everything organized for yourself when you submit. And if you have to go in for a visa interview, that you have copies of everything so you know what you need to do. You likely need to demonstrate some sort of financial stability. Not just enough to survive, but enough to show you're serious and prepared. That means either having a job or having at least some savings or access to money that you can use while you're living abroad. That means not spending the $2,000 that you have in your bank only on visa fees, right? So making sure that you have enough to live for at least a month or two if you're moving without a job to show that you're not going to drain the system as soon as you show up. Make sure that you're showing up with purpose. Why you're moving, why you qualify, and why you won't overstay your welcome is really, really important. So, for example, having a job application or a job is there, having family, loving the city and wanting to spend 6 months there is not going to get you a long-term residency visa. But loving the city and having roots to tie you back there, or a reason why you want to live there, that can help, right? Make sure that you follow the instructions exactly. This is not the time to be creative. Every form must be precise, every signature in the right place. And yes, when they say they want blue ink, they mean they want blue ink, not green, not purple, not red. They want blue ink. Okay. I know that sounds ridiculous, but make sure you're following the rules. I had a friend who had a visa application rejected because it said in block letters, meaning all capital letters, and she wrote in lowercase. And they're like, nope, we don't accept this. It says block letters. So read the application form clearly before you start, or have multiple versions of it, like multiple times if you want to redo it 47 times. But legitimately read through all the instructions, make sure you know what color ink, what print, what font, whatever is required so that you follow the instructions exactly. It is not glamorous, sexy, or anywhere near something that a type B wants to do. But if you do it right, it works the first time. Here's how you survive the visa process without losing your mind. Honestly, this is going to be a key for you and also be a little bit uncomfortable again for my type B friends. I happen to be type A. I am like the perfect person to fill in visa paperwork because I read the instructions twice before I put pen to paper. For those of you not like me, like most of the world, you really need to watch out. So I would say that if you're going to survive the visa process without losing your mind, number one, first and foremost, start here. Do your research directly from the government site. Forget blogs, forget forums, forget friends who moved abroad. Official sites are your Bible. And in the courses that I offer, I always give my clients the official site, not the nice one, not the pretty one. I'm talking about the officially official site. That is the government website for immigration, the government website for residency, the government website for visas, whatever the language that they use, that's what you need to find. Not Scotland.org, but the actual website for immigration into Scotland, for example. Make a checklist, or I'll drop in the show notes. I have a free document checklist for you that works for almost every country. It gives you all the documents that you need, the translations. It helps you to figure that out so that you have a good starting place. But make sure you know if you need translations, insurance, proof of funds, appointment slots, whatever you need. If you need apostille stamps, there's so many different things that can pop up. Make sure you plan for delays. Build in a little cushion time into every part of the move. Assume things will take longer than you think. Don't assume that it's going to be the short stick, right? So, for example, I needed to get we were living in Switzerland. I needed to get my husband's birth certificate from the United States. We planned for 5 weeks for that to be mailed from the United States to Switzerland for our move to Austria because it needed to have an apostille stamp. Make sure you plan for those long times if you're getting stuff mailed from far away. I highly recommend that you keep both digital and physical copies. Bring backups of every document with you. You'll thank yourself later, especially if something doesn't look right or it looks kind of like it got lost in the mail. Make sure you take a copy of it before you send it over. And then ask for help. You absolutely can use immigration lawyers if you have the funds to do it, or relocation consultants. Or join my program that helps you through this process as well in a more affordable way. The immigration lawyers and relocation consultants are rather pricey, but they can save you thousands in mistakes in the long run. The course I offer for visa, specifically the research and register course, is $97 at full price. We have payment plans available to help you through it. And it really walks you through every single step of the process so that you don't feel overwhelmed if you want to DIY it, but still want a little bit of help in your back pocket. Here's the thing, visas can be hard, but they're not impossible. They're gatekeepers, absolutely. But once you understand how they work, you can navigate them. The secret is to treat them like a project. Get obsessed with the details. Don't wing it. And don't let anyone else make you feel guilty for asking questions or demanding clarity. Moving abroad is meant to expand your life, not your stress levels. And if you know the lies, the sneaky requirements, and the hidden costs before you leave, you'll avoid the oh no moments that ruin people's first few months in a new country. So here's what I want you to do if you're thinking about moving abroad. Number one, I want you to stop believing in the hype. Moving isn't easy, but it is possible. Start compiling your documents now. Even if you're not sure where you want to move yet, some of the documents are going to be the same across all of the different places that you would move. So download my free visa checklist that will help you start figuring out what documents you need. Make sure you build your network, research your target country, and plan your finances accordingly. There's budget templates and things as well that I'm happy to share with you along the way. And most importantly, treat the visa process like it's the first real step of your adventure. Honestly, it is. If you can do this, you'll save yourself weeks and sometimes months of stress, money, and tears that you don't need to waste it on. All right, my friend, that's it for today's deep dive into the visa lies that they don't want you to know about. If this episode hit a nerve, subscribe to it Broadly Speaking, share it with someone else who's thinking abroad or moving abroad, I should say, and drop me a line or a DM. Feel free to email me. I'm happy to chat. I really think that it's important. Like I said, if you want my free personalized checklist for visas that breaks down the exact documents that most visa requirements are covered, check the link in the show notes. It'll save you a ton of headaches. If you want any information about research and register, the mini course that I have about visas and getting all the way through that process, I also dropped that link in the show notes for you. We have a payment plan that makes it super duper duper affordable for you and way more affordable than a visa attorney or a relocation strategist that wants to make you pay and for them to do it for you. The truth is, moving abroad is not about magic, but it is totally doable if you know the rules, the traps, and how to play smart. All right, my friend, that's it for this one. I will catch you on the next one. See you soon. Thanks for tuning into Broadly Speaking. If today's episode got you dreaming a little bigger or thinking a little braver, go ahead and hit subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who's ready for their own adventure. And hey, don't be a stranger. Come hang out with me over on Instagram at @IamEstelle for the real, unfiltered life abroad. Keep that passport handy, and remember, life's too short to stay in one place.